The sun was just dipping below the horizon when a small boy stood by the roadside, clutching a dusty old bicycle. His eyes, deep, dark pools of exhaustion, reflected something that didn't belong to his age: hunger. His lips were cracked, his small fingers trembling as he waved to a group of roaring bikers who had stopped at the gas station nearby. He took a deep breath, his fragile voice barely louder than the hum of engines. "Buy my bike, sir. Please," he said, his voice breaking. "Mommy hasn't eaten in 2 days." And just like that, the laughter and chatter among the bikers faded into stunned silence. Before we go further, if you believe kindness can change the world, don't forget to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Kindness Universe, where real stories of hope and humanity come to life. The boy's name was Rahil, just 10 years old. His clothes were torn, his sandals nearly falling apart. He stood barefoot on the warm asphalt, his small frame silhouetted against the orange sky. His bike, a rusted, wobbly frame missing one pedal, looked more like junk than something anyone would buy. But his eyes, those pleading, desperate eyes, told a story far heavier than the metal beneath his hands. The bikers, a tight-knit group known locally as the Iron Souls, were used to rough roads and tougher stories. They'd ridden across villages and cities, seen every shade of human struggle. But something about Rahil made their leader, Adil, pause. Adil was a man in his mid-30s, built strong but with a gentle heart hidden beneath his leather jacket. He crouched down, meeting Rahil's gaze. "Why are you selling your bike, kid? It's late. Where's your dad?" Rahil looked away, his voice trembling. "Daddy's gone. He used to fix cars. But last month, men came. They said he owed money. He never came home again." Adil exchanged glances with his friends. Arman, the jokester who suddenly had nothing to say, Samir, who always carried his camera to document their rides, and Taha, quiet and thoughtful. Rahil continued, his words spilling out between shallow breaths. "After Daddy disappeared, we couldn't pay rent. They took our things, our bed, our fan, even Mommy's sewing machine. Now Mommy is sick. She hasn't eaten in 2 days. I thought maybe if I sell my bike, I can buy her some food." The silence that followed was heavy, the kind that presses against your chest until it hurts to breathe. Adil rose slowly, trying to steady his emotions. "Where do you live, Rahil?" "Down the road, near the old bus stand," the boy replied, pointing toward a cluster of dimly lit huts. "It's not far." As the bikers followed Rahil, the hum of their engines broke through the quiet night. The road narrowed, and the smell of smoke and damp earth filled the air. They stopped before a small shack, half walls of tin, half of broken wood, with a single candle flickering through a cracked window. Inside, they found a woman, pale, frail, and coughing softly. Her name was Zara. The faint light revealed her sunken cheeks, her trembling hands clutching a small metal cup. When she saw the bikers step in, fear flickered in her eyes. "Rahil," she whispered, "why are there people here?" "They're good people, Mommy," Rahil said, rushing to her side. "I wanted to sell my bike so you can eat." Her lips quivered. "Oh, my sweet boy." She tried to smile, but her tears betrayed her. Adil stepped forward, his voice gentle. "Ma'am, we're not here to take anything. We're here to help." Zara looked down, ashamed. "We don't need pity, sir. My husband, he wasn't a bad man. He just borrowed money for Rahil's school. But those men came back before he could repay. They said they'd teach him a lesson. He never came back." Arman clenched his fists. "Who are these men?" Zara hesitated, glancing toward Rahil, who had fallen asleep on her lap. "They call themselves the Shadow Riders. They take protection money from small shops, threaten people who can't pay. Everyone is too scared to speak against them." The irony hit the bikers hard. The Shadow Riders. They'd heard of that name before. A gang notorious for extortion and violence, known to terrorize small towns nearby. Adil's jaw tightened. "Where did they take your husband?" Zara's voice trembled. "The old warehouse near the river, but that was weeks ago. No one dares go there." That night, the Iron Souls didn't sleep. They gathered around a small bonfire near their bikes, the stars reflecting off their helmets as the air grew thick with tension. Adil looked at his brothers. "We've fought storms, crossed mountains, and rescued riders before, but this time, We're saving a family. Armand cracked his knuckles. Count me in. No one scares people for trying to feed their kids. Samir nodded, already loading his camera. If we're doing this, the world needs to see it. Taha, calm but firm, said, "We'll bring justice, quietly or loudly." They all knew what that meant. At dawn, the Iron Souls rode out, engines roaring like thunder. The old warehouse stood at the edge of the riverbank, surrounded by silence and broken dreams. Adil signaled them to stop. Shadows moved inside, rough voices, laughter, and the clinking of bottles. Through a crack, Adil saw them. 5 men, one of them holding a photo in his hand. It was Zara's husband. The men laughed. He was a fool, thought he could outsmart us, should have just paid up. That was enough. The Iron Souls burst through the door, engines blazing and headlights cutting through the darkness. Chaos erupted. The gangsters tried to run, but the bikers cornered them. Armand grabbed one by the collar. "You starve women and children for money?" The man spat back, but his arrogance vanished as Adil's voice thundered. "You're done. The police are already on their way." Indeed, Samir had been live-streaming the entire confrontation, broadcasting it straight to local authorities and their massive online following. Within minutes, sirens echoed through the valley. By the time the police arrived, the gang was disarmed, their hideout exposed. The Iron Souls had done their part. When they returned to Zara's home, Rahil was outside waiting, clutching his bike again, not to sell it this time, but to greet them. "Did you find Daddy?" he asked, eyes wide with hope. Adil knelt down, his heart heavy. "We didn't find him, Rahil, but we found the men who hurt him. They can't hurt anyone anymore." Zara stepped out, tears streaming silently down her cheeks. Adil handed her an envelope, filled with cash, food vouchers, and a contact card. "This is from us, a new sewing machine, a few months of rent. You don't owe us anything, just promise me one thing. Keep Rahil in school." Her trembling hands clasped his. "How can I ever thank you?" Adil smiled softly. "You already did, by reminding us what real strength looks like." Over the next few weeks, Zara's life slowly began to rebuild. With her new sewing machine, she started a small stitching business, and Rahil returned to school, often riding his little bike, now freshly repaired by the Iron Souls themselves. A local news story soon featured them. Bikers bring justice to widow and her son. The footage captured Rahil waving as the Iron Souls rode off into the sunset, engines echoing through the hills. Before leaving town, Adil turned back one last time. He saw Zara standing in the doorway, smiling, not with pain, but with pride. Rahil beside her, holding the bike that once symbolized desperation, now a sign of hope. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Kindness Universe. Every story you share spreads one more spark of kindness into the world. Ending message. Sometimes, the smallest voices carry the loudest truth. A hungry child selling his bike became the reason justice was served, kindness was reborn, and hope returned to a forgotten street. The Iron Souls didn't just fix a broken family. They proved that real strength isn't measured by how loud your engine roars, but by how gently your heart responds when someone whispers for help. Because in the end, kindness is the most powerful ride of all.